We're joined by our Chief International Affairs Editor, Robert Parsons. Rob, is it for real this time?
Well, you know, that obviously it's the question, Francois, that people are asking themselves. But this is the 12th time that these two men have signed on to an agreement. Is there any reason that this should be more likely to work than any previous agreements? Well, according to Riek Machar, yes. I mean, he says he's for peace, that, you know, it's time to turn a new page. He's making all the right noises. It's interesting that he turned up in the capital, Juba, without an armed escort. In other words, a gesture of peace. But at the same time, one obviously has to wonder. But I suppose really that if there is a difference this time, it's in how the agreement has been reached. This isn't so much a deal between Machar and Kiir as an agreement that has been cobbled together between the leaderships of Sudan to the north and Uganda to the south. In other words, they're seeing that it's in their interests that there should be peace in South Sudan, and they're prepared to use their muscle to make sure it sticks. Because what, in particular, Sudan is after is revenue from southern Sudan's oil, which is one of the biggest which has one of the biggest oil reserves in the African continent.
Yeah, and hence the significance, the fact that you also had Omar al-Bashir of Sudan, Yoweri Museveni of Uganda present, and the new president of Ethiopia.
Exactly. You know, the regional interest is in bringing an end to this endless civil war in South Sudan, which has cost somewhere in the region of 400,000 lives, and you were mentioning just now the number of refugees, internally displaced people, and externally, somewhere in the region of 4 million people. That's about 33% of the entire population. Famine has affected as many as 6 million people in southern Sudan. That's a consequence of the last 5 years of civil war. So there is an interest in bringing that to an end. I suppose the question everybody has to ask at this point, though, even if this does stop the sort of civil war we've been seeing in the past, and the moment there's fighting still going on in different parts of southern Sudan, but let's just say for the sake of argument that they do manage to stop the fighting, are the ordinary people of South Sudan going to benefit from this, or is all the profit that's going to come from getting the economy going again, in particular, of course, getting the oil flowing, is that going to go to ordinary people, or is it going to find its way into the pockets of the South Sudanese elite, the Sudanese government, and perhaps the Ugandan government as well?
Because you had, these decades of civil war, then the whole world was praising the fact that there was the creation of this brand new nation on the African continent.
A brand new nation on the African continent without any thought at all for the internal mechanics, the social mechanics of southern Sudan and its environment, not just internally, but its neighbours. There has been conflict with Sudan. There has been involvement by Uganda inside South Sudan's conflict. And South Sudan is riven by ethnic strife. And one of the biggest problems this country is going to face, regardless of whether this deal is made to stick, is how the country can be held together when the ethnic problems, the inter-ethnic problems are so pronounced. And this deal seems to suggest that they're going to become even more pronounced, because the suggestion is, I think, that the country is going to be divided up into tribal homelands, in which those sort of ethnic conflicts that we've seen in the past can start to boil even faster.
All right, Robert Parsons, many thanks for that.